Please. All right, Ms. Gary, if you could please take roll.
Yeah. Joe Cox.
Present.
Eric Hayden. Emily Pearson.
Present.
Dennis Johnson.
Present.
Jacob Evans.
Present. We have a quorum with 4 members present. Moving along to the approval of the agenda. Do we have any revisions, additions, subtractions from the agenda tonight?
No, sir.
No. If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved. Second, Emily Pearson.
Motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Approve or opposed? We have an agenda. All right, moving along to the approval of the prior minutes. Has everybody had an opportunity to review the town council staff meetings from minutes from July 14th and the town council meeting minutes from July 21st? Any questions, corrections, anything on those? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
So moved.
Dennis Johnson.
Second, Emily Pearson.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Go there. All right, moving along to the approval of the claims dated 8/4/2026. Has everybody had an opportunity to review the claims?
I have them, so
Questions, concerns?
No questions.
If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the claims as presented.
So moved, Emily Pearson.
second, Dennis Johnson.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Go ahead and pay the bills.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to change the agenda up just a little bit. We're going to move old business up to this spot. So the first item in old business is the parking lot ceiling striping at the utility and planning offices. Mr. Zawadzki.
Yeah, evening, council. I believe that Mr. Culp informed me that I just need the council's consensus to say that I'm okay to spend $5,000 or less.
Well, is it this $20,000?
No, it's
No.
5. On a contractor my choosing to reseal and stripe the parking lot at the utility office.
Yep, and we've discussed this in previous meetings. I'm good.
I'm good.
Jacob?
Good.
Dennis?
Good.
You have your consensus?
Thank you, council.
Yes, sir. All right, moving along, South Peru Street update. Are we able to do that without Eric here? Terry, do you have an update for us?
Yes, and Keith's got some information and I've got some.
Okay.
I drew the short straw. All right, so Mr. Cook was here last week at 250 South Peru. Since then, we've kind of looked at the history out in the area and the sewer. One thing I would point out that in 2014, that sewer in front of his house that he connects to that runs down Peru, the 12-inch sewer, was replaced. As well as with new PVC, as well as a line, all the laterals were replaced up to the right-of-way line in those projects as well. So I'd sent some information, but to summarize, I went back and looked, what have we done in the old part of town? And there's a project in 1999, a project in 2014, and a project in 2020 that wound up replacing or lining up to 16,474 feet, which is about over 3 miles of sewer in the old part of town. It also, any place we found any connections, cross connections with storm were removed. So there's been a lot of effort and a lot of good results from that as well. One thing to point out too is I do recall when we were doing that 2014 project there at Spring Street on Peru, there's a lot of groundwater in that area. We joked, but apparently there's some reality or some reason why that was called Spring Street. So there's a lot of groundwater in that area as well that probably leaks into laterals and basements and things. Looking at the sewer, there was a thought or a claim that when the Main Street lift station backed up, it would back up into that sewer. If you look at elevations, even on Google Earth, you'll see that the top of casting, the top of the structure of the street level of the Main Street lift station is about 15 feet lower than Peru Street. What that means is, if we would be coming out of the top of the structure at the lift station and water coming out to the top of the structure before we would back up into that sewer. So it might be an indicator that we had I&I when we saw red lights go off, but it's not backing up out of the lift station per se. That sewer in front of that residence is 11.2 feet deep per plan. If you think about it, then if the basement is, say, 9 feet deep, you know, there's only about 2-foot difference between the invert of that sewer and the basement elevation. You know, which means if we just get any type of surcharge in that sewer, a foot and a half above the pipe, it's going to create issues for that basement. I mean, it doesn't take a lot. And certainly, in that event we had, the storm event we had was probably a 200 to 300 year event, that 5 inches in 1 hour. And to be honest with you, there's not a sewer system anywhere in any town, any city that would have not had surcharge sewers. Unfortunately, it's going to happen. Town ordinance as well as standards require if your floor elevation is not at least a foot above the top of the manhole, or basically the street elevation, if you think about it outside, that you can't make a gravity connection. You have to put in a grinder pump station to serve that lower level. And a good reason for that, because to avoid issues like this. Now, back when that connection was made, it was long before those ordinances exist. So but it's still, the point is, it's still the safe thing to do is have a grinder pump station to discharge, because I think Mr. Cook indicated he had a backflow preventer on his gravity line, and they make gravity check valves, but on a gravity line, sometimes those plug. Sometimes they create backups. They get debris and material caught in them, and they're not 100% foolproof. So like a grinder pump station would be, because it's a pressurized line, and even if that sewer was surcharged to it coming out of the street, that lift station would still pump out to it and get the sewage out of the house, whereas a gravity line won't do that. So ultimately, you know, that's why the ordinance is there, to do things like that. And again, I think our sewer system did really well during that very extreme event. So, and I think Terry had something to add, maybe with what he found. He had the sewer televised out there as well. So.
Yes. So on July 30th, we contracted with a fluid waste to come in and to verify that PVC main in that area that services 250 South Peru, and found that it is all replaced. There was no leaking joints like, you know, where there's a lot of groundwater in there. So we haven't revisited that in 10, 12 years. So we videotaped that. So we did not find any anomalies in that main line whatsoever. It's flowing correctly. Also, when we had them in here, we had them bring in what they call a lateral camera. It's able to actually drive up and go up into the laterals. So we went up into the lateral of 250 South Peru, approximately 59 feet. The first 21 feet of the lateral had been replaced per what we've seen in his paperwork with PVC pipe. So from the main up onto the property, it was replaced. From 21 feet until 59 feet, so the customer's lateral is actually clay pipe. It's vitrified clay pipe. And at 59 feet, the camera went underwater and we couldn't record anymore. So potentially this water is caused by what they call a belly or a low spot in his lateral, which is up, you know, toward his house. 69 feet would put you beside his house, so his lateral must swing in around there. So everything on the town-owned side was running correctly, working as it should. So just to let you know that we did verify what our paperwork said.
Okay. So bottom line, an extreme event led to an extreme situation.
Exactly. We found nothing that was broke, leaking, disconnected, plugged in on our side of the sanitary sewer.
Is there any further action required on our end?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
I mean, we're working, our system is working correctly.
Okay. If I remember correctly, Mr. Cook had made a request about potentially draining his basement in situations like this in a manner that may have been outside of ordinance.
Right. I don't think we need to give him any permission to pump sewage anywhere.
Okay.
And I would note, by Mr. Cook's own admission, his system's out of compliance because the check valve was not functioning.
Sure.
And that's required by ordinance. And hopefully by now, he told us he'd made plans to have a plumber fix that, so hopefully that's been corrected.
Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you, gentlemen, very much for your work. It's greatly appreciated. All right, anything else on South Peru Street update? If not, we'll move along to the weight ordinance number 08-04-2026-01, which relates to the weight ordinance we put in place for trucks coming through town. Mr. Culp, if you could give us a brief overview.
Yes, per the council's discussion, we decided to change the way we were measuring the weight as well as the total weight. And so this ordinance is identical to the first one, except now the max weight is 26,001 pound. And that will allow up to a class 6, I think, dump truck, or class 5. And instead of doing it based on weight, because we don't have a weight station and we can't always rely on the plate, we are just using the manufacturer's determined for every vehicle that goes out there a vehicle weight rating, a gross weight rating, and if it's a trailer pulling vehicle, a combined weight rating. And so we're going to use those numbers. And so whatever they set that as, that's what the police will be using for enforcement.
Okay. And just so everybody knows, we did settle on the 26,001 weight limit based on feedback from individuals who attended the council meeting and provided that feedback for us. So this should open it up to where we need to be in a more agreeable manner. And we are working on proper signage and proper signage location too. So more to come on that. But at this point, I will entertain a motion to approve the weight ordinance number 08-04-2026-01.
So moved, Emily Pearson.
Second, Dennis Johnson.
Motion and a second, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Good go on that. All right. All right, we do have one little addition to the agenda tonight that we're going to add right now. As you may have heard Ms. Gary mention, Mr. Dan Strong, after 18 years of serving the town selflessly, has decided to retire. You know, it's a bittersweet day. I know it's a great day for Dan and Terry. You know. Terry Strong, everybody. But you know, Dan spent a lot of time serving the town of Cicero. I mean, as long as I've been here, when I think of Cicero, I think of Dan Strong. I would consider Dan my mentor in town. It's particularly hard for me to see him go. You know, a lot of times when I'm thinking through decisions, I find myself thinking, what would Dan do? You know, so Dan, we're going to miss you greatly. And we want you to know how much we appreciate your service. And when it comes, you know, the old saying is everybody's replaceable. This is about the closest thing to irreplaceable I've ever seen. So we've got a big job filling those shoes ahead of us. So in the meantime, we would like to honor Dan. Emily, if you would like to take over. We also have Commissioner Harebrant tonight to take part in this as well.
So, we have got a proclamation, and I'd like to read it right now. Whereas Dan and Terry Strong, citizens and residents of the town of Cicero, have served on boards and commissions in the town and have been generous with their time and support of not just special events, but activities in many organizations in our community. And whereas that's after serving the community, they have retired, but their love and dedication for the community will continue as they are committed to continue their leadership in the community in other ways. And whereas not only have Dan and Terry Strong served their community, but Dan has served on the town council of Cicero, Cicero's project coordinator on the Cicero Planning Commission, president, park board, and in many other capacities. Terry has served on our town Cicero, BZA, Planning Commission, Park Board, and numerous committees. And whereas, because of Dan and Terry's strong leadership and contribution over the years, the town of Cicero wishes to express their appreciation for the Strong's effort And whereas leadership, hard work, and service to their community and its citizens have been given with such devotion that they have earned the respect, admiration, dedication, and friendship of not only the Cicero Town Councils, the employees of the town of Cicero, and the citizens of Cicero. And whereas Dan and Terry Strong's many contributions to the community have reflected well on them as citizens of the town of Cicero, where they are highly respected members, and they are hereby publicly recognized and honored for their years of leadership and community service. Their efforts will continue to inspire all of those who they have touched and have Cicero Town Council's wishes to recognize their efforts and thank them on behalf of the citizens of the town of Cicero. Now therefore, it is hereby proclaimed by the Cicero Town Council, the 4th day of August, 2026 shall be observed as Dan and Terry Strong Day. Honoring the dedication and the efforts of Dan and Terry Strong for their 50 years of service and dedication to the citizens of the town of Cicero. And a duplicate of this is going to be made part of the town's official record. So Dan and Terry.
Give Dan a chance to speak here. I do want to correct myself. I said Dan has served for 18 years. Dan was actually president of the Planning Commission for 18 years. He's actually been serving the town for 24 years. But thank you both, Dan and Terry. It is a team effort. There are a lot of sacrifices that go into this. We're forever indebted to you. Thank you.
And I would like to turn this over to Mark Ehrbrand. Commissioner Ehrbrand.
It is certainly, it's always an honor to be here, but it's a special day here in Cicero when I'm here to recognize my friend and somebody that has dedicated most of his life to the citizens here in Cicero, and someone who deeply cares about the residents here and does above and beyond. I know you've been tired for some time, and you have worked. I can only tell you that we have only, since I've been in office for 13 years now, we've only given this out to a handful of people. That's it. That ought to tell you, you have to have a unanimous decision by the commissioners to be able to be awarded the Rampart Award. And I'd like to just read a little bit about what this award is and why it's highly regarded throughout the county. The Rampart Award. The Hamilton County, Indiana Rampart Award is awarded by a unanimous vote of the Hamilton County Board of Commissioners when the following criteria of dedication has been achieved. Number 1, service. This honoree has given generously of his and her time to make Hamilton County a better place and works to support Hamilton County as a better place for everyone. Number 2, attitude. This honoree displays an attitude of teamwork, a generosity of spirit, and a desire to tirelessly support and celebrate the people and the communities of Hamilton County. Through this acknowledgement, the Hamilton County Board of Commissioners hereby recognize Dan Strong for the Rampart Award. And also, I'd like to recognize Terry as well, because a lot of people don't realize what you go through when you're an elected official. You got some high parts, but you've got a lot of low parts, and it takes a special person to be able to fight through that and refocus your attention back to what you need to do and what you were elected to be able to do is to serve the people. And I will tell you that Terry and Dan have both done this. I see them volunteering I see them at the elections almost every day when the elections are going by. They go there to dedicate their time. Not a lot of people do that. We are going to miss you. And the last thing that I will say is, one thing that I think that has really helped develop the relationship and been able to be prosper, not only Cicero, but also Hamilton County, is Dan and I, probably 6 years ago, started meeting over at Red Bridge every quarter. And it would be Dan, it would be a council person. I mean, it's a number of people that come to this, along with my parks director, because we've got a large park, Katawee, to let them know what's going on there. The highway department, our surveyor's office, and the utilities. And we spend a tremendous amount of time communicating and really trying to do what's best for the citizens here in this area. And kudos to you. I wish you the best. You are going to be missed, and thank you again for your service.
You're not smart.
I'm a smile right now.
And after this meeting, we're going to have cake and cookies.
So far?
And water, so stick around after the meeting. And thank Superintendent Hunter for his help, and Miss Gary did our proclamation, so.
Only 2 of you don't get water. Thank you, never mind.
Absolutely. Greatly appreciated.
I'll try to get this out. I certainly didn't come prepared to say anything. So, I've been very fortunate for 24 years to have the opportunity to be here. And I certainly will miss all of you.
You're not dead.
But with that being said, thanks, Sherry. Maybe I can get my composure back. But I've been very fortunate that, as Commissioner Harebrant said, great relationship with the county. The council back in 2002, I believe it was, had enough faith in me to allow me to be on the Planning Commission. So I was able to serve there for 24 years, and 18 of those being president. And that, again, the council could have taken me out of the Planning Commission at any point, but they kept faith in me. The citizens and the residents of Cicero and Jackson Township have put their faith and trust in me, and I've certainly appreciated that. But, over the years, I've worked with great department heads, and I've had all the support, for the last 7.5 years that I've been involved in town things as a council member, and then also as a project coordinator, that they've all helped me. I've learned so much from them. I understand more than I ever did. Unless I sit in their seat, I really don't know what they do every day. And I feel like I have a pretty good picture of that, but I also know that I really don't. And as Commissioner Harebrant said, the dedication of anyone that's involved in government or town business, it's 24/7. And kudos to all of you and all of the department heads for doing that. But, I've been reading a book recently about memories, and I will have a lot of memories from my past 24 years of being involved in the town that I'll be able to take forward, and I've certainly learned a lot from those memories. And I think the only thing I hope for all of you, that somebody asked me one time, did I ever have an agenda when I got involved in the town? I really never had an agenda. Looking back to that, I think the only agenda I ever had was I wanted things to be better and to make a difference every day that I got up and, participated in the town. And I hope all of you have memories of me being able to do that, or I've impacted your life in some positive way. And if so, I accomplished what I set out to do, so thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you all very much for taking the time. We've got some new landscape to navigate here, but we'll figure it out as we go. So, Dan, thank you again for all that you do. Greatly appreciate it. Please don't be a stranger. So, at some point, I may have to exit the meeting. Right now, I'm okay. So we're going to continue on with business as presented. But council committee reports. We have nothing from EDC. Mr. Freeman, stormwater.
Good evening, council. Congratulations, Dan. You deserve all the applause and accolades that you will receive. As far as stormwater, the only thing we're doing, we're tying up loose ends with more cementing. And I've talked with Terry and a few situations that have come up that could fall under stormwater's financial support. So we'll find about that. We have a meeting in a couple of weeks. I'll let you know. But other than that, everything's great.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, moving along, legal counsel report. Mr. Cole?
Nothing at this time.
Right, make it easy. Cicero Jackson Township Plan Commission report. Mr. Zawadski.
Good evening, council. I have here in front of me the director's report for July of 2026. Permit revenue for the month of July was $4,245. That brings us up to a year-to-date of $57,568. At the same time last year, we were at $6,551 for the month and $29,927 for the year. That's a difference for the month of July, a minus $2,306, and a plus for the year of $27,641. Excuse me. We issued a total of 25 building permits for the month of July. 14 of those have been for within the town limits. No new homes there, though. And we issued another 6 out in Jackson Township. No new homes out there either. We also issued 5 right-of-way encroachment permits. The estimated cost of projects permitted was $360,028. Some extra news here. The next Planning Commission meeting is scheduled for August 12th at the Town Hall. And there are items on the agenda, and we will meet. The next BZA meeting is scheduled for August 20th right here at Town Hall. We have items on that agenda, and we will meet as well. And also in other news, the fiber installation project, we have several of these permits that have been completed, so we have set up a walkthrough, so we're going to walk through and get a punch list and hear any discrepancies. So we're very near the end of this project, so I just wanted to mention that. I wanted to say a special thank you to Dan Strong. My first interaction with anybody in the town on official matter was with Dan when I applied for the job, and he interviewed me the first time. And I remember we had a real frank discussion. I went through a couple of interviews with the council, of which he was the president at the time, the Planning Commission, which he was also president, and the BZA, and they all grilled me. And I come from a warehouse career, and I was so tired that I kind of had the attitude that if you don't hire me, it's okay, you know. And Dan, he saw something in me that I didn't even know for sure that I had, but I wanted to give a special thanks because when you share an office with somebody for 8 hours a day for about 5 years, you get to see the real side of people, and Dan saw the real me. The public almost never sees it, and I'm not always proud of that guy, frankly, but it didn't scare Dan at all. And one thing I wanted to mention for sure, that I don't know if you guys knew this about him, but if Dan's memory is absolutely ironclad. The whole planning system that was built before this was a date-based system, which Dan could tell you. Say, hey, what happened with the Dollar General? He's like, July 2015, you know, and you'd go back there, and it's something I could never, ever achieve in my life. And thank you so much for being patient. Thank you for showing me how to do this work. I don't think that I will ever be able to measure up to your standards or what I think your standards are. And I wish you both well. I know Dan says he's a phone call away, but if it were me, I wouldn't do...
Numbers changed.
That's what I thought. So thank you both so much, and I'm going to miss you, Dan. Thanks.
Thank you, Frank. Mr. Strong, do you have anything under special projects?
Well, it's beans I normally never do because I usually follow Mr. Zawoski and Mr. Bryant, and they usually cover all the projects that we have going on that we're working on. So I actually do have one, and I did not set this one up, but I wanted to inform the town council that someone hit the fence by Broncos and did a pretty good number on it. So anyway, the police department is working on it, and I'm sure we'll get it resolved, but anyway, that's something we'll need to get taken care of, so,
Absolutely.
Do we have a camera out there?
We do.
yeah.
That's how we,
Okay.
yeah.
So anyway, it was nice to whoever did that, gave me something to come up and address with the council.
You want to stick around and take care of that for us?
One last thing. Thank you very much, Dan. So, all right. Moving along, town engineering report, Mr. Bryant.
Good evening, all. Tough to follow, you're a tough act to follow, Dan. All right, going through the report, wastewater, the tree Reynolds continues to work on the punch list and miscellaneous. We did have a meeting with the Indiana Finance Authority. They were in a big push to find out whether we wanted to close our ban for permanent financing through the SRF because they're getting on a tight schedule to do it this year. The conclusion was our ban interest rate is 2.61%, which is much lower than we get on permanent. So the suggestions by Baker Tilly and IFA and everybody, let's ride this out and see if the long-term interest rates fall before we close, because we've got time. There's no hurry unless we want to pay a bigger bill. There's no motivation to do it. So that's kind of where that's at. 2026 CCMG East Jackson Street. We did a substantial completion inspection, was conducted on July 30th. I emailed copies of the substantial completion form with punch list to the council. I guess if possible tonight, I'd like to have a motion and have Joe sign that. It basically just sets up that the project's substantially complete, and of course we'll keep working to get it to final completion, but it just documents that milestone in the contract was met for the contractor.
Does she have that document yet?
I do not.
I've got copies.
You may want to go ahead and pass it to her and have it sent over here.
I'll give it to you after, if that's okay.
Well, I may not be here for the duration of the meeting.
Okay.
What do they have left to do, Keith?
Well, they've invoiced for like 78% of the project, but they've got some striping to correct. They've got some structures that are too low that they're going to fix.
Okay.
Some miscellaneous, the grass, they're going to replant the grass seed where the sod died on the corner there on North Catherine. So there's a list of about 30 things that they're going to do. None of them terribly significant, really, just getting them done.
Aaron, do we need a motion for me to sign this?
Yeah, we've always just had a motion to, because we're certifying that they've hit substantial completion.
Okay.
Okay, I'll make the motion.
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, getting signed.
The other thing on that project is we did send up their pay application number 1 back on, we emailed it on July 29th. And again, that pay application is for $237,793.29, which is about 78% complete. We removed all the striping because they still have striping to finish and complete and repair. It's really just for the asphalt and the storm sewer work. It is 80-20 grant, 80% CCMG, which Rhonda has the funds for, so we would request that that pay application be approved.
That was on the claims, so technically we've already captured it, haven't we? Do we need another motion for that, Aaron?
Was it in the claims, Rhonda?
Yeah, if it was in the claim, we've already approved it.
We've already approved it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're good to go.
Worst landing under drain, Bruce talked about that. We did a substantial completion inspection on that as well, so working to get items wrapped up on that. And there's one driveway we're just looked at this evening that we might have to do some work on, but for the most part it's done, just wrapping it up. So 2027 CCMG, West Jackson Street, basically from Pearl out to the west side of the bridge. We are working on the survey on that. We've been in and doing the supplemental survey, and we got the aerial mapping in progress. It was flown for aerial survey work, so right now just trying to get the survey work done so we can dig into the design work and move that ahead so that we could be ahead of the September application for the grant. Then finally, Waterworks project, that's moving ahead in that the aerial survey work has been flown. They're mapping that, and we're doing supplemental survey, and we're working with vendors and suppliers to get some more information on equipment so we can hit the ground running when the survey's done for that, so.
And I would note that today we closed on the last parcels over there that we acquired the site of the future plant and the tower.
Great.
That's all I had. Any questions?
No, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Oh, I'd like to thank Stan too for working with Dan on and off for quite a while, and I really appreciate it. And all the hats you wore, appreciate everything you've done. The town's going to be really hard pressed to fill those shoes as you mentioned, so
No doubt.
thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bryant. All right, moving along to new business. I have nothing under new business, nothing under miscellaneous. Comments by citizens, I have one blue slip. Mr. Alden? Yes. If you don't mind stepping to the podium and stating your name and address?
Okay, my name is Richard Alden, and I live at 79 East Jackson Street, where I have resided for about 55 plus years. I came home from vacation last week to find a handicap parking space put directly in front of my property. So I was curious, I was wondering why that had to be placed right there. I did take some pictures and stuff of in front of my property. So,
I'm pulling up a map here. Actually, can somebody plug in?
79 East Jackson. I'm the first residential property to the east, going east out Jackson Street. I'm basically the first residential property there. So, yeah, we've struggled with parking in front of our home for years and years with the businesses and the customers that come and go, which I have no problem with the customers that come and go. The customers are fine because they come half an hour to an hour and they leave. But I have the business owners parking in front of my house for 8 to 10 hours a day. So when I come home from work, I have very little chance of even parking in front of my own house. So, and that's been a struggle for years and years now. So,
Give us just a second.
yeah. I did take some pictures of showing my front walk that comes out directly in the middle of the handicap parking space. I have those. And I have the street view, a couple street view pictures there.
You're on the south side.
Yes, south side, first property, just on the southwest corner of Harrison and Jackson. So, yeah, and I've maintained this sidewalk and curb line for decades, keeping it mowed, keeping it edged, keeping the snow and ice removed, and yet I still struggle to park in front of my own home. So then I come home from vacation last week to find a handicapped spot put right in the middle of my property, basically, limiting me even more. So, you know, with all the rezoning that's gone on over the years, I was ensured that the business owners wouldn't be parking in front of my house for hours at a time, but that's obviously gone by the wayside.
All right. So
I have some pictures of the business owners that are parked in front of my property here. I have some pictures of the parking spots across the street in front of the parking lot. And I have some pictures in front of Big Dog's Barbecue also. So,
Is the garage to the south yours?
garage to the south on Harrison Street,
Is that your garage?
yes. At one time, my family owned the whole parcel there, including the building the old fire station was in. My grandfather owned that whole property. He split that building off and sold it to the town and cut off the rest of the 3 lots that are there. There's actually 3 lots there at one time. So now it's like a lot, there was a lot on Harrison where the garage is. It went all the way across to the alley to the west. There was a lot there across the back and 2 lots in the front, basically. The one that the old fire department was on, 49 East Jackson. And then the lot my home's on, so. But like I said, we've struggled for years just being able to park there and, you know. One of those is Mrs. Faulkner's Corvette that's parked there for hours and hours. It's usually a big SUV, XL, Yukon XL, but I just feel like there could have been a better spot. I understand Cicero's struggling with handicap parking, I get that, but I don't think in front of my residence was a great place for it. When you have all the other side of the street, you know, for patrons going to 10 West, Erica's. I understand my business owner there at 49 East Jackson, we're lobbying for this handicap spot. So, and my thought on that is when they moved in there, they have an approach to their building where they're able to park three vehicles in that spot in front of their building, but they decided to put in a patio lounge instead of
Did you say
parking.
that they were lobbying for that spot?
That's what I heard. That's just what I heard. That's just hearsay.
No, honestly,
Maybe
this was all
not.
just part of
Maybe
our
not.
downtown street revitalization.
Okay, that's just what I heard.
No, that was,
That's just hearsay then.
That was us. That had nothing to do with anybody
Okay.
else.
Well, and I know part of it was from ADA, we wanted to have parking on both sides of the street so that it was possible to park on either side. That was part of what the design was. There's one new one on each side. Yeah.
I didn't see one on the north side. There is, look at that picture, because I don't believe there is.
I think all we can do is take it under advisement
Yeah.
and give it some thought.
Yeah.
How many ADA spots do we currently have downtown right now?
I took a picture from Harrison going west there,
Okay.
and I don't believe there's a handicap parking spot on that side.
All right.
So part
Thank
of
you, sir.
addressing the community crossing matching grant is that you address handicap issues. If
Right.
it's available, that you could correct some of those. And there was no handicap parking spaces down East Jackson Street, so it was 2 were put in, 1 on each side of the street.
Okay. All right.
I kind of got to go close to one of the intersections so that handicapped persons can get to the
Where's the handicap spot on that side?
Yeah, let's just think about it.
Yeah, so this is a situation, we'll have to take a look at it
Okay.
and review it.
I'm just saying, being a residence and not a business,
Sure.
and like I said, I've maintained that walk and that curb and the snow, the ice removal. If I can't park in front of my own home, I can't see me maintaining that the way that I do to make it look nice for the town, for myself, and for the businesses.
Sure. Sure.
So, you know.
Sure. And you are correct.
So
We
I'm
have some
just-
challenges with public street parking downtown that we're trying to work out, and part of it is learning as we go.
I understand that. I do understand that.
But
So,
we will absolutely take a look at it, and we'll follow up with it.
I'd appreciate that. I appreciate you listening to me.
Yes, sir.
and
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate you attending.
Thank you.
Oh, all right. Terry, could you take that under advisement and just take a look and see what kind of options we may have? Oh, all right. Only blue slip I had. If there's no more comments by citizens, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. And remember, before we adjourn, please feel free to stick around for light refreshments for Mr. Strong afterwards.
So move the adjournment.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in